My beloved child, I do not warn you about what is easily recognized, for what is obvious has never been what destroys. That which causes a life to lose its way often comes with a gentle face and sweet words. The most dangerous snare is not open evil, but goodness cloaked in deception. You cannot live forever by first impressions or fleeting emotions. Some you meet will not carry sharp knives, but scriptures, prayers, empathy, and eyes that listen well. Yet I tell you this truth: do not let your soul fall asleep upon the shoulders of those who were only sent to soften your vigilance. For within such gentleness the enemy pours into your soul a spiritual narcotic, dulling the intuition I have placed within you. Learn to hear my voice amid the honeyed noise of the world. You have asked me to guide you, yet when I close away you call it disappointment. You have pleaded for unity, yet when I divide you call it loneliness. But child, some things you name dreams are in truth only weaknesses not yet refined by fire. The enemy knows this. It observes what you crave, what you mourn in its absence, and then it packages the counterfeit in a form that mirrors your desire. Unless you learn discernment, you will trade destiny for an embrace given at the wrong time. Do you remember when I was silent? It was not because I was absent, but because I was watching to see if you were mature enough not to chase after what merely glitters. You believe that everything spoken about me came from me, but it is not so. Some use my name only as a tool to gain trust, like a spell that hides their true nature. Do not let my name in their mouths make you forget to test their hearts. Do not let spiritual words deceive you into thinking they truly belong to me. A counterfeit shadow is always seeking to slip into the true light. You must dare to step back so I may reveal what eyes of flesh cannot see. My child, what you must guard against most is not darkness, but light that is not of me. The enemy will not knock at your door with claws, but with a friendly greeting. It will sing with you, bow in prayer beside you, even invoke my name to win your trust. Yet behind the sweetness of those words lies a single aim: to defile what I have consecrated. It sows confusion in the language of peace, but its essence is manipulation. Do not let familiarity blur discernment. Remember, not everyone who stands in the temple belongs to heaven. Not everyone who uses my word lives under my authority. False angels wander among my children, not to love, but to derail destiny. My beloved, there are dangers that arrive without roar, without thunder, without warning. They come quietly under a cloak of false peace, seeping in like wind through a crack in the door. This is not the evil you once saw in dreams, nor the darkness you once battled in prayer. This is another kind of shadow, one clothed in pale light, dim as twilight, bright enough to calm fears, yet too faint to reveal truth. I tell you this not to sow confusion, but so you will know not every light is from above. At first they will not wound you with deeds. They will reach you with words, words that make you feel understood, seen, supported. They need not appear dangerous, for their goal is not attack, but planting. A very particular seed, one that only grows when cradled by trust. And I know well your heart, if unguarded, is the most fertile soil. The enemy is never in haste. It is patient, tender, subtle. What it seeks is not a wound, but a slight deviation. Small enough to seem harmless, yet deep enough to draw you away from me. Remember this, child: not all who invoke my name carry my spirit. Some know how to speak virtue, but do not live in holiness. Some read my word fluently, yet their hearts are full of schemes. They do not come to fight openly, but to disguise. They do not destroy with clubs, but with affection, with sympathy, even with kindness. Yet it is precisely such goodness that may cause you to forget what is holy. When you no longer distinguish between what is pleasant and what is anointed, then darkness has already dimmed the light. I recall Judas Iscariot, who was nearer to my son than most. He heard every teaching, witnessed every miracle, ate and drank with the Lamb. He was given a place, not outside, but within the trusted circle. Yet you know it was he who kissed the Lord with his lips, while his heart had already yielded to darkness. That kiss, beautiful to human eyes, was the mark of one of the greatest betrayals in history. I tell you this not to make you suspicious of all, but so you will know betrayal does not always come by a dagger, but by an embrace. Do you know why the enemy disguises itself as light? Because it knows you love truth, because it knows you will not be tempted by blatant evil. It does not approach with insult, but with words clothed in wisdom. It does not lure with base desire, but with needs that appear justified. Since you reject open darkness, darkness chooses instead the garment of reason of beauty of what seems good. Yet you must learn to see beyond the surface, or you will receive deception into your heart as if it were a holy gift. Return to the quiet of the Spirit. Do not be too quick to believe those who say, "God told me," or "I am praying for you," for many times these are only coverings for private motives. I am not in every prayer nor behind every revelation. You must learn to know me, not through others' words, but through the witness within your spirit. When you are in my presence, you will sense a faint unease. That silent tug is my whisper. Be careful. I do not blame you if you have been hurt by something that seemed to come from me. I know you never intended rebellion. You were simply too thirsty, too eager, too quick to trust what bore the shape of your prayers. But from today, I want you to learn something new. Obedience is not only doing what is right, but refusing what is wrong, though it looks right. Ask me to sharpen your discernment. Learn to pause instead of rushing after feelings. Wait for the true light rather than settling for a pale glow to ease loneliness. My child, my purpose is not to make you distrust all. I teach you to discern, not to close your heart, but to open it rightly to the right person at the right time in the right way. Those I send will never dim my voice in you, nor make you doubt your calling, nor leave you in confusion. Instead, they will clarify truth, encourage obedience, and strengthen holiness. If their presence does not draw you nearer to me, ask yourself, was that truly ascending from me? More and more, counterfeits will grow subtle. They need not lie outright, only omit. They need not lead you astray, only delay you. They need not pull you away from me, only occupy you with what is not of me. Do you see? This is not a war of brute force, but a game of confusion. And the most dangerous confusion is when one believes they are walking straight while circling endlessly in comforts that never reach the spiritual destination. Remember, the enemy does not need to destroy you. It only needs to dim you, only to make you doubt a little, tolerate a little, be distracted a little. Slowly, your faith thins. My voice grows faint, and what belongs to me loses its pull. That is when you no longer sense my presence as before, no longer weep in prayer, no longer grieve over sin. But child, if you still hear me, if you still feel nudged within, it is not too late. There is still time to stop, to return, and to let true light heal where false light once passed. And as twilight gives way to night, there are things that appear to be the dawn of grace, but are truly the first bell of wandering. Sit with me in silence and remember, not all who move your heart are sent by me. Some arrive to tilt you bit by bit until you no longer recognize how far you have strayed. But if you listen, truly listen, you will hear me whispering, not in the loud but in the subtle signs. And there where I whisper, I am ready to strip away another disguise, the disguise called connection, which in truth is only an emotional hook awaiting you. You once thought that anyone who listened well, who touched the hidden wounds you carried, must have been sent by me, but not every understanding is a sign of divine companionship. Some come not to battle but to bind, a bond that feels gentle yet is crafted to quietly draw you from the holy ground. They do not shout rebellion against me, they whisper acceptance, belonging, deep understanding. But child, not all empathy flows from the Spirit. Some embraces do not heal, but open the door for compromise to enter quietly. I have seen it before. My children, lacking healing within, have welcomed some, not because of calling, but because of emptiness. And when emptiness leads, you cannot discern whether one is sent by me or drawn by your weakness. The snare is not in evil, but in timing. You meet them when weak, when unhealed, when longing to hear, you are not wrong. The enemy knows this well. It tempts not with fire, but with comfort unanointed, a comfort that makes you lean on man rather than run to where I wait for you in silence. I do not blame you for opening your heart. I know that pain has lingered for a long time. I have seen you weep alone on nights when no one understood. I have heard your prayer, Lord, please send someone. But what I long for you to realize is this: if you have not yet been healed, then what you call connection may in fact be a new chain, more beautiful, more subtle, yet still a chain. You cannot bind yourself to another when you yourself are still bound by what has not been released, and do not be surprised when I put an end to a relationship you thought was right. I will not let you build a house on ground, still trembling with unresolved emotions. Have you ever wondered why you are easily drawn to those who know your pain? It is because you have not yet entrusted that wound to me. The enemy does not need to know everything about you. It only needs to find the part you have withheld. It wagers that you will choose empathy over obedience, that you will choose someone who can comfort you over the one who can truly heal you. But my child, comfort without correction only allows the wound to grow silently chronic. As I have written in Jeremiah 6:14, they have healed the wound of my people, lightly saying, peace, peace, when there is no peace. Yes, you need true healing, not the illusion of stability. I am not calling you to close your heart, but I counsel you to let discernment go before connection. Ask me before you open your heart. Wait for my confirmation before placing your trust. Do not mistake emotions for my voice. I do not lead you through loneliness. I lead you through promise. Those I send will not merely soothe you for a moment, but will encourage you to return to me. They will not take my place. They will bring you closer. If someone causes you to need me less, they are not the one I have sent. Do you still remember the day Samuel was sent to anoint the new king? David was only a boy, not tall, not striking, not connected. Yet he was the one I chose. His brothers, strong, gifted, admired, were not chosen. Why? Because I do not look as man looks. Man sees the outward appearance, but I see the heart. So you must stop measuring others by how well they understand you. Look instead at the fruit their presence bears. Does it bring peace, clarity, a rekindled spiritual fervor, or does it simply stroke the comfort of your flesh? Do not cling to someone merely because they can ease your pain for a moment. Choose the one who strengthens you in the journey of obedience. If they only affirm your weakness without leading you to healing, they are not my gift. I do not want you dependent on someone merely because they understand you. I want you free. Free to love without being bound by the unhealed places of your soul. Those I place beside you will not dim my voice or rush to pull you out of solitude too quickly. They will stand with you in your solitude, but always point you toward the light. You are stepping into a new season, a season where emotions are no longer your compass. I will not use your tears as a sign. I will use the stillness within as your guide. And if you are faithful there, I will open your eyes to see what you missed before the trap hidden within the caress. Counterfeit always bears a hint of the familiar. And sometimes what makes you tremble is not fear, but your soul being stretched away from my will. If you feel secure yet lose your zeal, if you are comforted but your hunger for prayer fades, you must ask yourself, am I being lulled into forgetting my Father's voice? Come back, my child. Weigh every relationship on the scales of discernment. Let every connection be tested against my word, not your loneliness. If I have not sent them, their presence is only a soft pillow lulling you to sleep in the midst of battle. And there within the warmth your soul will slow unawares until what I long to do through you is exchanged for fleeting closeness. But I will not let this happen if you allow me to lead you deeper. For beyond the veil of emotions lies another challenge, a temptation not cloaked in empathy, but disguised as favor. A brighter mask, more powerful, yet more cunningly crafted. Its goal is not merely to pull you off rhythm, but to brand you with a new identity, not in me, but in power that has not been anointed. Some doors open not to lead you into destiny, but to test what your heart truly longs for. The enemy is too shrewd to tempt you with clumsy lures. It knows you will not fall easily to the vile, so it brings glittering invitations, promises of advancement, influence, renown, even things that seem to come from me. You will stand before what looks like blessing, but in truth it is only a counterfeit. And if your heart hungers for success more than for me, You will not notice you are reaching for a crown that is not mine. I think of Gehazi, servant of Elisha. When Naaman, a man of power, healed by grace, offered gifts, my prophet refused. But Gehazi did not. When Elisha turned away, Gehazi chased the opportunity. With feigned humility, he invented a story to take what his master had deliberately declined. Gehazi did not understand not every gift is to be received. Not every offering is born of blessing. In the end, he gained what he wanted, but with it inherited the very disease from which Naaman had just been freed. Do you see? An opportunity not led by the Spirit, no matter how precious it appears, can carry hidden consequences. Not every promotion comes from me. Some things you think are lifts from heaven are gentle pushes from hell. The enemy will not drag you down with brute force, it will lift you up the wrong way. And right there in the place you think you are being exalted is where you begin to drift from purpose. When destiny ceases to rest upon obedience but becomes entangled in gain relationships and spiritual seeming offers, faith is no longer standing on rock but on sand. Ask yourself, my child, if a door opens but demands less time with me, is it really I who opened it? If someone comes to help but leaves you more dependent on them than on me, is it truly I who sent them if a promise urges you to run ahead of? My timing is it heaven's promise at all? I know these questions are not easy when emotions stir, when dreams awaken, when advancement beckons. But that is when you must pause, not to doubt everything, but to ensure your heart is anchored in the right one. I am not against your dreams. I am the one who planted desire in your heart before you even knew yourself. But I also know that what comes too soon spoils, what comes too fast burns. Everything I give has its season. And if you take shortcuts, you forfeit the process I use to shape your identity. The enemy knows this. It knows impatience can trade away preparation. It knows you long to rush into success, and it will dress up what looks like God's opportunity. But I ask you, if you must lose holiness to have it, are you sure I am in it? There was a time when Israel was on the edge of the promised land. Instead of trusting my word, they sent 12 spies. When they heard reports of giants, they trembled. They looked at obstacles and rejected the promise. So I let them wander 40 years in the desert, not because I did not want to bless, but because I could not give it to those unready to carry it in obedience. Do you see? Not every promise is fulfilled at once. Some doors open only by faith, not fear, not haste. I do not rebuke you for rejoicing at what looks like blessing, but I want you to ask deeper, Lord, is this from you? For if you do not ask, you may wear an identity you were never meant to bear. I did not create you to anchor your life's purpose in human invitations. I do not want you to measure your worth by recognition or possessions. You do not need to grasp every gift that comes your way. Sometimes refusal is obedience. Sometimes stepping back is faith. My child, learn to reject what seems convenient in order to wait for what I have prepared. Let my name be the only confirmation you seek. Let true peace, not excitement, be the signal you follow. Let holiness be your guide, not pressure or opportunity. And if what is offered demands you trade away integrity, know this: it is not heaven's gift, but a snare disguised as blessing. One day, someone may come bearing a grand door. They will say, "The Lord told me to help you." They will speak of mission, recalling what I declared over your life. But if what they bring requires you to lower standards, to stay silent at injustice, to run ahead of me, you must know I am not in it. All I do is in the light. All I give adds no sorrow. And all whom I send will not pull you away from me, but deeper into my heart. The next trap will not be someone who comes to comfort, but someone who comes to align. Yet not in partnership under my will, but in bondage to plans not from me. And if you do not discern, you will think you are stepping into a new season, when in truth you are yoking yourself to an unequal burden. A yoke that appears sacred yet will weigh down your steps and slow my purpose in you day by day. My child, there are things that seem good yet are not born of my presence. And what is not born of me will eventually drain you, not in a storm but in a slow leak. I know you value kindness. I know your heart stirs at those who seem trustworthy, spiritual of me. But it is in that seeming that many of my children have drifted from the holy path. For the greatest danger is not open opposition but subtle agreement, not outright betrayal but compromised surrender. Once I commanded Saul to destroy the Amalekites completely and keep nothing. Yet Saul spared King Agag and even kept the best of the flocks to sacrifice to the Lord. Do you see, he justified disobedience with a spiritual reason? He believed what he did was good, but good in man's eyes does not always mean holy in mine. Saul was rejected not because of whom he killed, but because of what he kept that I had not blessed. He chose good over obedience. And through Samuel I declared, to obey is better than sacrifice, so it will be with you. You will stand between two paths, one that looks good, reasonable, humane, and one that I call you to that may be hard and misunderstood. The good path will secure your approval before men. My path will shape you in holiness before me. Remember this, my aim is not for you to be praised by the world, but to be consecrated in my sight. If you choose comfort over resolve, you will enter alliances, not anointed relationships, not spirit-breathed labors that bear no eternal fruit. Kindness is not always the mark of heaven. Some are gentle, gracious, yet carry a spirit not of me. Some counsel sounds wise, yet quietly dismantles the walls I built in your soul. You may find yourself tolerant of sin, yielding to flesh, and dulled to the holy unrest. My spirit once used to warn you. Beware, my child. The danger here is not the blatantly evil, but the half-good. I am not telling you to mistrust all, but you must learn to discern. Not everyone who says, Lord, Lord, has truly entered my kingdom. You cannot judge by words, deeds, or pleasant feelings. You must look at fruit. Spiritual fruit never leaves. If someone's presence makes you pray less, weakens your fire, or tilts you away from holiness, you must dare to question. I am not in connections that cause you to fade no matter what name they bear. Do you remember Ananias and Sapphira? They gave an act good in the eyes of all, but they lied about their offering, pretending to give all while holding back part. They were not punished for giving less, but for pretending they had given all. They wrapped deceit in a good box. And I exposed it, because I will not let counterfeit survive among a people of truth. If I dealt firmly with this in the early church, will I overlook it in your personal life? Do not be deceived by appearances. I am the one who searches the heart. I see the motives hidden behind kind words. I see the subtle manipulation wrapped in sweetness. I see clearly the companions planted only to steer your soul away from calling. And you will only recognize this if you step back, quiet your spirit, and ask, Lord, was this born of your presence? My child, there will be times when I call you to walk alone, not because I desire your loneliness, but because I desire your purity. A brief season of solitude is far better than a lifelong bond that binds you wrongly. There are connections that appear to be companions, yet in truth, they are nothing more than burdens you were never meant to carry. I do not want you to walk in fear of losing people, but in reverence for me. If you do not learn to distinguish between what looks right and what I declare to be right, you will trade the sacred life for emotional stability, and in doing so, you will lose the true essence of your calling. I do not speak this to make you close your heart, but to help you open it at the right time and to the right people. Holiness requires selection, not for the sake of discrimination, but for the sake of discernment. Not to exclude others, but to preserve the purity of the mission I have placed within you. If you continue to measure relationships by feelings instead of by my word, you will still be walking in false light. And the enemy will always know how to bring good people without my spirit, who will slowly exchange small portions of truth within you day by day. Be watchful. In the days ahead, you will face not only what is evil, but also what appears to be good. And what I am teaching you is not merely how to reject evil, but how to recognize mixture. For if you can no longer discern what I bless and what merely makes you comfortable, you will drift away without realizing it. And once your heart grows accustomed to substitutes, it will no longer hunger for what is true. In that state, the enemy does not need to destroy you. He only needs to make you stop seeking me wholeheartedly. Yet I see what is approaching. A truth about to be diluted by emotion. A kindness about to be used as a mask. And if you do not return quickly to ask me, you will call light something that does not bring life. So be still and wait. For what comes next will not arrive with a smile or a blessing. It will come as a challenge crafted with intention. And you will need more than emotion to endure. You will need discernment refined by the very battle you are about to face. My beloved, there are lessons I cannot impart through gentle words but must carve into you through circumstance. There are truths I cannot place into your heart while you rest in comfort but can only engrave upon your mind as you walk through the wilderness where there is no applause, no approval, only you and me. Not because I am distant, but because there are dimensions of authority that cannot be gifted, only birthed through endurance. Just as gold must be refined by fire and wheat must be sifted, so too must your heart be shaped through trial. I see your weariness. I know you have endured long seasons of obscurity, closed doors when you thought you were ready. I did not ignore these things. But child, if I let only favorable winds blow through your life, you would never learn how to pitch a tent in the storm. If you live only within safe boundaries, you will never discover that within you is a spirit able to withstand hell itself. It is through collisions, sometimes unfair, sometimes unbearable, that you learn to cling to me, not by emotion but by faithfulness. There was a time when I allowed Job, a righteous man, to be tested to the extreme. Not because he had sinned, but because I knew his faith was not built on blessings but on relationship with me. Job lost everything, family, possessions, health, honor, yet he did not lose his reverence. The words of his friends sounded moral and wise, yet they only revealed this truth: not everyone who speaks truth understands my intent. And in the dust, Job declared, I had only heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. That is the outcome of a true trial, not my vengeance, but my revelation. Trials are never random. Every push has a purpose. I allow no shaking without a hidden invitation. Do you want to go deeper? And I know you do. You once prayed, Lord, use me. But you did not understand that for me to use someone, I must first break what has not yet been refined. Not to wound, but to purify. Not to punish, but to awaken a faith that does not waver with seasons, but rests on the one who does not change. I permitted the trial, but I did not abandon you in it. I still whisper, though the winds outside make my voice harder to hear. I still hold your hand, though the darkness hides my face. And one day, when everything around you grows quiet, you will realize those battles were not just for you to survive, but for you to mature. For my word never promised to remove every enemy from your path, but I have said, in the trial I will be with you. 1 Corinthians 10:13. You are not forsaken in temptation. You are forged within it. I know there are times you have asked, Lord, why didn't you stop this from the beginning? I have heard the silent sighs buried deep in your heart. But if you let me answer, you will hear me say, if I had not allowed the battle, you would never know how sharp your sword truly is. If I had not let the winds blow against you, you would never learn to raise the sails of faith. If I removed the enemy instantly, you would never learn discernment but would remain dependent on circumstance. But I do not raise fragile soldiers. I am training a spiritual warrior. Child, every trial reveals what rules your heart. When convenience is stripped away, when the lights go out, when people walk away, what remains? If your faith survives nights without confirmation, wounds inflicted by those you thought were companions, then that is the faith upon which I can build a kingdom. It is in the moment when you stand trembling, but do not retreat, hurting, but do not cease to worship, that heaven bears witness to you. Not because you conquered, but because you did not withdraw. Do not expect every answer to come quickly. Do not pressure me to move on your timeline. If I delay, it is because I am waiting for you to be perfected in what I have begun. If I am silent, it is because I am teaching you to live by promise, not by feeling. And if I test you, it is because I see within you something far greater than what you see now. I see the day when you will heal others with the very wounds that once broke you. I see a servant who will not tremble when the winds shift. I see one anointed through pain, purified through trial, and led not by the voice of man but by mine. So if you are walking through a barren season, do not rush to escape. Seek the lesson. If it feels as though every blessing has been delayed, do not conclude that I have forgotten you. Ask instead, Lord, what are you trying to teach me? For what I am doing today is not only to bless you for a moment, but to lay a foundation for an unshakable life, and then you will see. When this season passes, it will not only be that darkness has lifted, but that light within you has ignited. Not a light kindled by others, but one you yourself have tended. Then every disguised invitation will lose its allure. Every false light will cease to deceive you. For now you know not everyone who carries a sword is a warrior, not everyone who bears. My name is sent by me. And the trial itself has opened your eyes to see this clearly. That is when I can entrust you with true responsibility, not to a child in faith, but to one matured through fire. From that place you will not only avoid traps, but help others avoid them. You will not only escape disguise, but expose it. For now you do not merely know of me, you truly know me. My beloved, there are things unfolding in the unseen depths that your eyes cannot perceive, yet your soul has sensed them. The unease you cannot explain, the fragmented dreams in the night, the moments you feel desolate even among the crowd, none of these are by chance. I want you to know they are the stirrings of the invisible realm, the tremors of a battle not outside but within your very spirit. This is no longer the time to live by habit or continue in old patterns. This is a turning point, a season where every choice echoes into your life, not just now but into eternity. Heaven is not silent. Every choice you make now awakens my intervention and also attracts the attention of the enemy. You stand at the threshold between what I am preparing and what the enemy is planting. This is not merely about two people entering your life, it is about two paths, two directions, two destinies. You have wondered why peace feels so fragile, why a single word can shake you, why just a glance or an opportunity can throw you off balance. But child, all of this only reveals that your spirit is brushing against sacred ground, the place where destinies are determined, where my eternal purpose collides with the enemy's schemes moment by moment. That is why you cannot allow the need to control your journey. You cannot let what you think you need right now rob you of what I am preparing to give you forever. The enemy does not always tempt you with obvious wrongs. He only needs to stir an unmet desire, awaken a restless longing, and then present something almost like the promise, almost like the guidance, almost like love, almost like opportunity. But child, almost is not true. Only what is true can save, while what only resembles truth will drown you in prolonged illusion. When you let need dictate choice, you are granting the enemy entry into your territory without him having to break down the door. He need only place before you what you crave, a person who speaks the words you long to hear. A door that opens at the very moment you waver, a confirmation that sounds spiritual but carries no fire from heaven. And in that moment, if your soul is not quiet enough to hear my spirit, you will mistake attraction for grace. But I am the good shepherd. I do not lead by pressure. I do not drive by fear. I do not rush by emotion. I lead by peace, by a steady stillness within, by whispers only those near me can hear. Do not be surprised if what you prayed for has not yet been allowed to enter. It is not because I forgot you. It is not because I want you to remain lacking. It is because I love you too deeply to place into your life what has not yet been refined. If you embrace someone I have not chosen, you will not only welcome them, but everything they carry, and the enemy knows this. He knows that if your soul is bound to one not anointed, you will slowly lose your sharpness in the spirit. You will begin to justify small compromises, accept subtle distortions, and eventually live a blended life, half truth, half emotion, half obedience. But I do not anoint half a life. I do not entrust a mission to someone still clinging to what I commanded to release. If you could see what I am preparing for you, you would no longer be restless. If you could see what I am shielding you from, you would not question why I delay. You would understand that every delay is not postponement, but protection. Every closed door is not rejection, but a barrier I raise between you and a snare. I am guarding your destiny from those sent to divert it. They do not always come with malice, yet they become tools of distraction. They bring connections that do not bear spiritual fruit, only emotional gratification. They bring relationships that seem peaceful at first, but gradually cool your fire, dim your urgency, and rob you of the sacred flame you once carried. Pause, child. Do not rush to the next direction. Let me teach you to discern not with your eyes, but with your spirit. Do not only ask, is this person wrong, but also ask, is this person anointed? Do they awaken the fire of the Spirit within me? Do they stir a deeper hunger for me? If the answer is not yes, then do not proceed. Learn to say no to what only appears good while waiting for the yes that comes from me without your striving. For every true blessing does not require you to pretend, does not lower your standards, does not silence the inner voice of truth. False peace will not nourish your soul. Stability, born of compromise, will not bring lasting life. Connections not birthed in my presence will soon weary you, not because they are inherently bad, but because they are not aligned with the weight of glory you are being prepared to carry. I cannot build an enduring destiny on a temporary foundation. And what I am building is not just for a fleeting season, but for an eternal stream. Everything you face today is not only shaping your present, but echoing into the seasons ahead. Every decision now is a brick in the path you will walk. So choose carefully, choose in stillness, choose in waiting, choose in my presence. My child, remember the word I spoke in Isaiah 3:0-1. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." This is what I long to do in this season. I want my voice to be clearer than every other voice. I want my guidance to be stronger than every invitation. I do not want you to feel pressured to respond to someone merely because they come with a pleasant appearance. I want you to carry such clarity that your obedience needs no explanation. I want you to be strong enough to say no without guilt. For obedience to me is not rejection of others. It is protection for your very soul. You will see in the smallest of choices what truly governs you. Is it need or is it faith? Is it lack or is it fullness in me? Is it the longing to be recognized or the rest of being known by me? The enemy does not need you to choose sin. He only needs you to choose out of season. He does not need you to do evil. He only needs you to drift a beat away from what is right. But I have not called you to walk in shadows. I have called you to walk in the light, not a glittering light, but the true light, the light that shows the path even in the night. And my child, when you choose the light, you are not merely saving yourself. You are laying a foundation for those who will come after you. Your vigilance today becomes a shield for the generation to come. Your refusal today becomes a barrier that keeps the fire of confusion from consuming another life. You are not small in my plan. Every step you take is a spiritual declaration, an echo in the unseen realm, and you have the right to choose to live by the approval of man or to live in the witness of the Spirit. I am calling you not into a season of comfort, but into a season of clarity. Not to make you at ease, but to make you strong. Not so that you will be well liked, but so that you will be set apart. And as you respond to this call, every counterfeit will fall away like dry husks. Everything that once confused you will become clear, for you have chosen not to chase what you think you need, but to receive what you truly need from me, and you will see, my blessing is not like the world's. It adds no burden. It does not strip you of rest. It does not demand that you trade away your integrity. And one day when you look back, you will see every rejection that once pained you was in truth my protection from what carried no anointing. Every loss you thought you suffered was what kept you whole. And every no of mine was in fact a bridge, carrying you into the very place you were meant to be. For I am the faithful shepherd. I will not let your soul starve. I will not let your life stand empty. I will not allow your destiny to be stolen. As long as you walk with me, everything you need will find you, not before, not after, but at the appointed time, with the appointed people for the appointed purpose. For I am not only the beginning, I am the finisher, and I will complete what I have begun in you. Rest in this. Let this truth anchor your heart no matter how the world shakes. For I, the Lord your God, do not change, and what I have decreed no one can snatch from my hand. Keep walking, my child, in faith, in obedience, in peace. For I go before you, and I am also behind you. You are not alone. You are not lost. You are in my hand, and that is the safest place in all time. My child, now I will lead you deeper into the eternal purpose you have not yet grasped. Every warning I have spoken was never meant to unsettle you, but to prepare your heart to receive a greater truth. Everything I allow in your life, even the painful things, is a necessary link in the plan that only I see from beginning to end. I do not act on fleeting emotion. I am the Lord over time and life. And because I know the entirety of your journey, I have allowed certain trials not to hold you back, but to awaken what has long slept within your soul. I have seen what your eyes cannot see. I have looked into hidden corners of your soul that even you have not had the courage to face the desires. You have not surrendered the ambitions masked beneath prayer, the wounds that seemed healed, yet still bleed in the night. I see them all. And because I see, I cannot let you live forever with an untested faith. If you remain sheltered, you will never know where you are weak, never discern what in you still moves by the flesh and not by the Spirit. You once asked me, Lord, why did you let me go through this? Why did you not stop it at the start? And now I answer you with truth. Truth that may not soothe you instantly, but will set your soul free. I allowed it, not because I wanted to see you wounded, but because you needed to confront the parts of you that you yourself refused to cleanse. Those people were not accidents. They were not coincidences. They were living reflections of what in your heart had not been surrendered. They were the enemy's response to desires you did not allow me to shape in holiness. But my child, what the enemy intended for your destruction, I have purposed for your refinement. Do you know why their presence shook you so deeply? Because they touched your blind spot, not the weakness of the body, but the blindness of the spirit. They stirred the longing you dared not name. They spoke words your flesh longed to hear. Yet when they spoke, your soul trembled because the spirit within you knew it was not me. And there, in the heart of that struggle between what you wanted and what the Spirit warned, I gave you a chance to grow. Not through outward victory, but through quiet obedience. Had I not allowed them to come, you would have kept believing you were already strong. Had I not let the strange wind blow, you would have assumed your faith was unshakable. But spiritual maturity does not come through feelings of peace. It comes through the ability to hold fast to obedience in the midst of inner turmoil. That is when you learn to hear me not through the confirmation of others, but through the whisper within. That is when you stop asking, who are they, and begin asking, who am I, in your eyes as I face this. I never allow anything unless it will lead to wholeness. Whatever the enemy plots, I remain the master of the board. You are in my process, not of punishment, but of reshaping. Do you think I test you to discard you? No, I test you to strip away what cannot enter the next season. For there are things in you today that would crush you tomorrow. And I love you too much to let you step into your future with burdens I have not sealed. Step back and look closely. What within you wavered when they came? What made you almost believe it was my answer, while the spirit within kept pressing you otherwise? Was it because you were too hungry for recognition, too weary from loneliness, because my promise felt too far while theirs felt too near? My beloved, I understand it all. But if you grasp the nearness, because it is easier to reach, you will lose the eternal gift I am nurturing in you. The enemy always chooses the moment you are weakest to present what looks like what seems right, but I have not left you alone in this battle. I have gone before you and I am beside you. Remember this, what comes from me will not pull you away from me. It will not stir chaos in your spirit. It will not force you to move faster than the time I have set. Everything I give carries a steady peace, not born of fleeting emotion, but of deep rest in the soul. If something makes you feel you must seize it for fear of loss, then stop. For what is from me you will never need to grasp. I will preserve what belongs to you, and I will remove what does not bring life. You have prayed, Lord, give me mature faith. This is my answer. Not through sermons, but through real moments where you must choose between comfort and holiness. You wanted discernment. This is the lesson. Not from books, but through people sent to bend your standards with subtlety. You long to know my will, then stand still among many voices. Learn to wait. For only when you are silent enough will you hear my footsteps moving through the noise you cannot control. Do not think I am absent in this trial. I am here. It is I who allowed the wind to blow, but it is also I who holds the anchor. It is I who let those words touch you, but I have also placed the flaming sword in your hand. It is I who let them walk in, but it is I who will strip away their masks when the time comes. And in the silence between trial and unveiling, you will learn what no sermon could ever teach, that the counterfeit cannot endure in the life of one who listens and obeys my voice. So walk on, my child. Do not fear. Do not be consumed with what others think. Do not try to dissect every detail. Guard your heart in holiness. Let your eyes look to me, not to man. Let your ears grow less busy with invitations and more attuned to the whisper within. And trust me enough to know this: everything I permit, I also redeem, and more than that, I turn it into a stairway to lift you higher. I am God, the one who foresees, who prepares, who preserves, and who perfects. Nothing the enemy schemes can exceed my authority if you hold my hand. Walk forward not in fear, but in faith. For you are being refined, and when the fire passes, you will emerge not smelling of smoke, but bearing the mark of one chosen. One I trust, one I will send. One who cannot easily be deceived, shaken, or manipulated for you, will have learned that false light can never eclipse the true light, and that one, my child, is you. Be still now, and listen carefully, for this is no exaggeration, no story meant to frighten you. This is truth, a spiritual reality unfolding alongside your daily life, unseen by your eyes. There is one who lurks not with terrifying form, but with dreadful patience. He carries no loud threats, but slips silently like the night through an unlatched door. He does not need miracles to enter, only a lapse in vigilance. And he does not wait for your weakest hour, but for your most careless one. He does not need to know your mind to strike. He only watches patiently. Day after day, he notes your smallest habits when you wake, which scriptures you often read, what you pray for most when you grow discouraged, what unsettles you when someone touches a hidden place in your soul. He is never hurried. He will wait months, even years, for a moment when you lay down your guard, and then he does not strike hard, he invites, a whisper wrapped in the very longing you once carried. He is a master at turning desire into entry. He knows what makes you weep. He knows which dream has been delayed long enough to become a weakness. He knows the sob you once buried when no one saw, and he knows if he comes with something evil, you will resist him. But if he comes with something beautiful, something just in time, something that looks like heaven's answer, you may relax and open the door. You may think, perhaps this is the moment. You may say, perhaps this is the one. But you do not know that person, that word, that timing, all have been calculated with precision to strike the unhealed places within you. You do not need to see horns or swords to know that a battle is raging. The truth is, the fiercest war does not unfold in the physical world, but in the intersection of need and belief. The enemy does not come to you through what you fear, but through what you crave. He does not force you into a great mistake. He only needs to lure you into agreeing with a small distortion, an unchecked connection, a step taken without prayer, a nod not measured against my word. And with each such step, each subtle compromise, you are drawn out of the place of grace until you can no longer recognize that you are drifting from the original purpose. You may think, but am I not still reading scripture? Am I not still praying? Yet that is precisely his deepest scheme. He does not need you to abandon God. He only needs you to believe you are fine while your heart quietly grows cold. He only needs you to hold on to spiritual habits as a shell, so that you do not realize your heart no longer trembles before my presence. He does not jerk the strings to make you rebel. He simply loosens the cord that ties you to me. And when you no longer discern the difference between what I speak and what you reason on your own, he will tighten the final invitation. And you will not see yourself fall. There will be no slammed door, no anguished cry. Only one day you awaken and realize you no longer yearn for what is holy. One day you look up and tears no longer fall in my presence. One day you hear the word of instruction and find your heart hardened. That is when you have been dimmed, not by obvious darkness, but by a thick fog woven of small, unlit choices. That is when he knows he does not need to push you down. You have already veered from my path, though you have yet to see it. But my child, I am still here. And right now in the place where weariness begins to seep into your soul, in the moment when questions grow louder than peace, I am calling. Not to condemn, not to accuse, but to awaken. To remind you, every counterfeit carries a sign, and if you listen, I will show you. I will uncover every hidden snare, every person sent to trade holiness for closeness. But you must pause. You must allow my light to shine. You must accept that what you long for most may not be what I desire for you. The enemy is not stronger than I. He does not rule time. He does not write the future. But he can intrude when you live without consulting me. He can exploit the spaces you refuse to let me fill. But you are not alone. I have placed within you my spirit, the one who reminds, teaches, leads, and warns. When an invitation unsettles you, though it looks reasonable, that is the spirit. When something within you halts, though the circumstance seems right, that is me restraining you. Do not ignore these signals simply because the danger is not obvious. Not every blade is sharp, but the concealed one is the most perilous. So, my child, stay awake. Do not live in fear, but do not grow lax. Do not walk in suspicion, but walk in discernment. Let me be the lamp to your feet, the light to your path. And remember, the enemy cannot destroy what I keep, but you can lose it if you yield to a call not from me. Stay close to me. Ask me before every decision. Keep your heart closed to anything I have not affirmed. For as I have said, my sheep hear my voice, and if you listen, you will distinguish every other voice, no matter how convincing it may sound. And I promise you, if you walk in my light, the traps will be exposed. The masks will fall. The strategies of hell will collapse into nothing, not because you are strong, but because you are in me, the one stronger than all. So stand firm, beloved. And when everything around you seems designed to pull you away, close your eyes, listen, and ask the one question that matters. Father, is this you? If you keep that question alive in your heart, the enemy will never cross the boundary drawn by obedience, and you will be safe. Not because temptation vanishes, but because you refuse to agree with it. That is your victory. That is what I long to see in you, and I believe in you. My child, let me reveal to you a deeper layer of what you are facing, something that without the Spirit's illumination, you would easily misjudge, easily mistake as favor, easily believe as a mission from me. The two people the enemy is sending your way are not merely chance encounters. They are part of a chess game, a plan carefully crafted in silence, step by step, detail by detail, with the persistence only the enemy could sustain. They are not random. They are sharpened arrows, refined tactics, strategies, stretched over years to strike precisely when you are most weary, most hungry, most wounded, to pierce the place you least expect. He does not target the areas you have surrendered to me. He does not invade where you are strong. He drives his spear into the place you have yet to bring into the light. He wagers that you will not let me touch that wound, the wound you have learned to hide behind spiritual busyness, behind declarations, behind untested beliefs. He counts on finding someone who speaks the words you long to hear, someone who appears to carry healing, someone who resembles the dream you once painted. And he believes you will trust without testing the Spirit, that you will lower discernment's guard because your hunger is too great. But I will not leave you alone in this battle. I give you warning not to breed suspicion of all, but to teach you to discern who is sent from me and who is only the shadow of what you once prayed for. For my child, human beings can touch the very core of your heart. A look, a word, a patient gesture, all can awaken what you thought had died. And as you open your heart, you do not only let in a person, but also the spirit they carry. You do not only receive a face, but the influence working behind them. If they are from me, you will be strengthened, encouraged, drawn deeper into holiness. But if they are not sent by me, even if they call upon my name, even if they pray, read scripture, and seem to understand you, that bond will begin to dull the sharpness I have forged in you. You once thought downfall comes only through great weakness, but no, it begins with conversations that seem harmless, a small opening unprayed over, a little empathy unlit by truth, a bit of agreement in what you knew to avoid. These do not break you overnight, but they soften a heart once firm in truth. They lead you into negotiating with what I told you to flee, and then you will no longer hear me as clearly. Not because I am silent, but because your frequency has shifted. You will feel my word no longer pierces as before. Not because it has changed, but because your ears are filled with other voices, the voice of emotion, of justification, of bonds you never sought my counsel on. The greatest danger does not lie in deliberate deception by the other. Many times they do not even know they are being used. The enemy does not need a villain. He only needs a soul unhealed. A person wounded but unwilling to be healed by me. A person carrying ambition or lack or delusion. They will not come cloaked in evil, they will come clothed in kindness. They may believe they are doing good, they may genuinely want to help you, but they do not carry my fire. And my child, false fire will never warm your soul. It only dims your sight and gives you enough to stop searching. That is when the enemy is satisfied, not because you have sinned, but because you have stopped longing. I see all things beforehand. I am never surprised. I know the enemy comes with intelligence, not with threats. He comes as a friend, a companion, a sympathizer. He comes with a voice you find pleasant, with eyes that feel familiar. He knows that if you think someone resembles me, you will not bother to test. He knows how to make familiarity dangerous, because familiarity tempts you to skip prayer, and I do not want you to fall through presumption. I want you humble enough to say, even if this seems right, I still need the Father's confirmation. That is safety. That is where I can speak clearly. That is where you will be spared from a bond of wrong timing, wrong spirit, wrong mission. You do not need to fear, but you must learn to slow down. Not everyone who arrives at a convenient moment is the one I have prepared. Not everyone who speaks spiritual language is the one I am using. I do not measure by skill, by similarity, or by sympathy. I measure by fruit, by spirit, by outcome. The one I send will not confuse you. They will not pull you into vague invitations. They will not draw you away from the secret place. They will not make you feel safe in spiritual decline. They will not satisfy your soul to the point you no longer need me. You once longed for companionship, and I heard that, but do not let that longing cause you to choose wrongly. There are embraces that come at just the right time but cannot keep you warm forever. There are words of praise so skillfully spoken that they cause your heart to waver. But if you stay near me, if you keep me at the center of all things, then every disguise will be uncovered before it takes root. I do not promise you will not be tested, but I promise you will not be left to handle it alone. I will always provide a way out, and often that way is the timely awareness to say no before it is too late. The enemy cannot read your mind, but he can study your behavior. He sees how easily you ache when you feel unseen. He knows you soften when someone says, I understand you, but I know you far deeper, and I do not use sympathy to lower your standards. I use true love, love that does not indulge but always leads you into truth. If someone's presence clouds what I have already spoken, you must step back. If their nearness makes you soft towards sin, you must turn away. If they appear as the answer but lead you from holiness, then you must have courage to walk away even if it hurts, because what I do not send cannot be sustained by my strength. And what I do send you do not need to maintain through exhaustion. You only need to obey. You only need to guard your heart. You only need to ask me. And I will show you what is true, what is false, and above all, what is worthy of you. For you were made for glory, not for fleeting bargains. You are my child, and I will not allow anyone to dim the light I placed within you. If you let me guard your heart, no lie will be light enough to trip you, no counterfeit clever enough to make you lose me, for you belong to me. And I will protect you even if I must expose what you once clung to. Let me do this. For I do not take away to leave you empty. I take away so that you may remain with what is real, and that real thing is me. Do not think, my child, that everything I permit is meant to wound you. On the contrary, I am training you for a kingdom unshakable. You asked for my anointing, you prayed for discernment, and this is the moment I answer. Not through dazzling light, not through ease, not through clear voices in the night. I answer through friction, through people whose presence awakens spiritual caution within you. I use unsettling ties, soothing words that draw you away, blurred connections that press you to sharpen the sword of discernment in your heart. Do not mistake this for punishment. This is the place where I forge warriors. This is the classroom of the chosen. Do not fear those who come with wrong motives. Do not let the dread of pain cause you to close your heart. I do not call you to suspicion, but I teach you to walk in the light. And true light does not only warm, it reveals what is hidden. I do not teach you to chase after brilliance, but to discern between the light I give and the false glow of the enemy. Not all you meet are evil, but their presence may still mislead if your heart is not anchored in me. A well-meaning but misguided soul can wound deeper than an open enemy. An unhealed spirit bound to you too soon can pull you off the rhythm I set, for a small misalignment in the present can lead you astray over the long journey ahead. I allow these people near not to confuse you, but to reveal what within you has yet to be surrendered. Not all dangers come from without. The greatest, my child, often lie within. I let circumstances uncover those corners. I am not afraid when you see your weakness, nor do I shield you from the truth. Rather, I rejoice when truth is exposed, for only then can my grace truly work in you. You prayed for a clean heart, and this is how I purify it. I allow you to see what mere scripture reading and songs of praise could never reveal. I use even the enemy to expose the part of your soul not yet yielded. That is what makes you grow, not only through sweet times of prayer, but through moments when you must guard your heart unseen. You do not grow through constant comfort, but by standing firm for what is right amid enticing temptations. That is why I do not remove every trial. I do not cut off every wrong person. I let them remain, so you learn to step back, to ask, to wait, and then decide in my light. And when you do, you not only preserve your holiness, you dismantle the schemes of hell without a public fight. A heart that knows when to say no is a silent victory stronger than 1,000 sermons. You once asked me, Lord, why don't you keep me from all harm? And I answered, if you never faced the counterfeit, you would never treasure the true. If you never had to distinguish between sweet words and my voice, you would never learn to hear the Spirit amidst the echoes. I do not protect you from every battle. I train you to stand in the battlefield. For your destiny does not rest in safety. It rests in authority, and authority is given only to those who have walked through fire. I still remember the day you wept in the secret place when you said, Father, I want to belong wholly to you, no matter the cost. You did not know then what that prayer would open, but I heard you. And now you are living in its answer. I am doing what you asked. You are in the process, and the process is not comfortable, but it is the place where I shape you into a vessel worthy. If you desire power, you must learn the weight of preparation. If you long to lead others into truth, you must first pass through the enemy's veils without losing yourself. My child, remember that David did not become king in a palace. He was trained in the wilderness among lions and bears. He did not learn discernment in the royal court, but in caves surrounded by the broken and the dangerous. I allowed Saul to pursue him, not to destroy him, but to refine him. In the same way, I do not allow others into your life to steal your destiny, but to reveal how much you have grown in me. For if you cannot turn away from what merely seems right, how will you ever walk into what truly comes from me? Do not forget I, the Lord, search the heart and examine the mind to reward each person according to their conduct, according to what their deeds deserve. Jeremiah 1:7-10. I do not reward theoretical wisdom. I reward those who overcome temptation, who learn to choose me, even when other options seem more convenient. And the reward is not merely blessing, it is my abiding presence. It is a peace no one can take away. It is an understanding only known to those who have refused the counterfeit. Therefore, my child, if someone's presence unsettles your spirit, do not hastily call it a spiritual connection. Ask of me. If an opportunity arises that demands you ignore what I have already spoken, do not call it an open door. Seek me. If some attraction clouds your discernment, do not call it alignment. Return to me. I am the unchanging one. What I have spoken will never contradict the truth I have written upon your heart. If you are uncertain, step back. If your spirit is restless, trust that more than human voices. for true peace never confuses. Do not let yourself be forced into choices without my confirmation, not because I am withholding or harsh, but because I see what your eyes cannot. I know the future of every connection. I see the end of every compromise, and I love you too much to let you bind yourself to what will lead you astray. I do not forbid to imprison. I set boundaries to protect. And when you learn this, waiting will no longer feel like a burden, but like a place where faith is nourished. Rejection will not feel like loss, but like a gift I reserve for those who trust. In the end, you will see that what feels like delay today is my hand keeping you from a misguided path. What looks like a closed door is one I have locked to shield you from unnecessary pain. For I do not only know the way, I am the way. And if you walk with me, no counterfeit can hold you long enough to steal what I have prepared. So keep obeying, keep guarding your heart, keep asking me, and you will see what only those who overcome deception can receive: true holiness, unmixed, unfeigned, and unstealable. My beloved, be still in your soul and listen to my every word, not with your ears, but with the heart that once trembled in the night, that once ran dry from waiting, that once grew weary from not knowing where you stood in the journey. My child, I have never forgotten a single moment of yours. I have never turned away, never abandoned you. When you wept in confusion, I was there. When you wrestled with unclear choices, I stood beside you. When you thought my silence meant absence, I was whispering through my spirit within you. And now when shadows of counterfeit ties try to creep into the sacred space I built in you, I speak not to scold, but to protect, for my love never grows weary. You think yourself weak. You think a spark of emotion, a fleeting attraction, a mere coincidence could sweep you away. But I have seen the strength you do not yet see, the power within you when you dare to reject what is not from me. You imagine victory belongs to warriors on the battlefield, but true triumph is in the heart of those who close the door on temptation when no one is watching. Victory is not always a shout of praise. Sometimes it is only a sigh, a step back, a quiet no when everything in you cries yes. In that moment, the enemy is defeated, not because you raised a sword, but because you withheld agreement. Agreement, my child, is the doorway. No darkness can enter your life without your consent. The enemy cannot force entry unless you open. That is why he seeks people who make your yes easy. He seeks situations that soften your resolve. He does not demand open rebellion. He only asks for a quiet nod. He does not require anger. He only leans on your weariness. He does not need your collapse. He only desires a little compromise. And he waits until you are lonely, until you are tired, until you whisper, maybe this time I should give in. But if in that moment you remember me, my holiness, my voice, then he can do nothing but retreat defeated. There are victories no one will know. No applause will follow when you refuse an invitation. No celebration will be held when you withdraw from a wrong relationship. No witness will stand to declare your obedience in secret. But I see, I record, I add to the reward of the kingdom those choices where you preferred me over comfort. For I know that your quiet no carries greater weight than 1,000 sermons. There are moments when you turn from temptation and heaven itself rejoices. That is when faith ceases to be theory and becomes action. That is when you stop living by what others think and live by the light within. Do not fear when trials surround you. It is I who allow them near, not to ensnare you, but to reveal the true nature of the faith you profess. No fire I permit will ever consume you, but some flames are meant to refine you like pure gold. I have given you my word not as decoration, but as a real sword in your hand. I have given you my spirit not for fleeting emotions in a gathering, but to steady you in nights no one else sees. I have not equipped you to live passively. I have called you a watchman, a guardian, one who stands firm while other gates falter. The enemy seeks entry. He will not break the door. He waits for you to open it. He draws with gentleness, with timely voices, with enough kindness to build trust, not to attack but to trade. He does not snatch, he offers exchange. A relationship in place of discernment, an opportunity in place of waiting, a connection in place of holiness. But my child, do not bargain with one who carries no true light. For the price he asks begins small, but it always ends costly. I've seen many fall not from malice, but from lack of discernment, not from blatant sin, but from things that seemed good. A wrong embrace, an untimely glance, a word wrapped in kindness but seeded with poison. And when they awoke, they had gone too far. But you, my child, I have taught to hear my voice. I have made your heart sensitive. That is your advantage. You can smell the difference. You can sense the imbalance. And when something makes your spirit tremble, do not dismiss it because it looks fine. What robs you of deep peace does not come from me. Remember, emotions are gates, and you must guard the gate of your heart. A feeling not surrendered to me is a door without a guard. A need not laid before me is soil where false seeds can grow. But if you entrust me with even your fragility, I will raise within you a wall of light, a belt of truth, a discernment no one can blur. And then you will not only avoid traps, you will teach others to spot them. You will become a living warning, a witness of my protection over the surrendered. And if you stumble, do not hide in shame, return. I do not close the door to the repentant. No misstep is beyond my grace to restore. But if you are still standing, still hearing, still feeling my voice, then obey while there is time. Do not wait until everything collapses. Do not wait until emotions lead you so far you cannot find your bearings. Decide while you are clear. Close the door while you still can. Guard your destiny while it is still in your hands. For once you drift too far, the journey back is never easy. But if you hold fast today, tomorrow will not be filled with regret. I am within you. I do not stand outside waiting to judge. I dwell at your core, nudging, guiding, warning. Believe I will never let go, but you must also choose not to let go. Be careful in the small things. Be strong in the seemingly unimportant choices. Be steadfast in the moments unseen, for it is in these that true maturity is forged. And you will see, when you learn to reject disguise with the truth inside, the enemy will have nowhere left to enter. You are my temple, and I will keep you if you let me reign, if you live in truth, if you choose me above all. For I have not called you to an easy life, but to a kingdom unshakable. And in that kingdom you are the warrior I trust. So live as one entrusted with the sword, with the mission, with the covering. Live as one who knows that even a small nod can seal a destiny. And let every no you utter to what is not of me be a resounding yes to your true calling. My child, do you remember? In your darkest nights, when everything in you cried, Lord, I do not understand, I was silent, not because I turned away, but because I was watching what in you truly lived for me. You asked me to use you, and that prayer touched heaven. You said you were ready to be sent, and in that moment the process began. But my child, you cannot carry true anointing without walking through the place where I test motives. You cannot stand in kingdom authority without first being touched in the deepest places of your heart. For anointing is not a reward for zeal, but the fruit of absolute surrender. I hear every whisper in secret. The words you write in your journal, the prayers you speak when no one is near, I record them all, but I do not hasten to entrust authority to an unstable soul. For what I release, hell notices. And if I gave you influence without teaching discernment, it would become a burden, not a blessing. You would drown in admiration, sway with applause, live for recognition. And the enemy knows this. He would not need to strike only to breathe flattery, and you would wander from your calling. So I prune you now while no one knows your name, so later you will not die of pride. I correct you in silence while no one follows you, so one day you will not lead others astray by your own fractures. I do not place you on the battlefield to crush you. I train you so you can carry the kingdom without wounding yourself or others. I allow you to walk through confusing ties, not to hurt you, but to teach you to choose rightly when the wrong looks sweet. Your next level, my child, is no longer only about you. It will touch others' souls who will seek counsel from you, lives who will look to your example to decide whether they should surrender to me. If you have not learned to choose me in the small things, how will you lead others in greater holiness? I cannot place anyone on a platform who has not been forged in the hidden place. No one can stand before thousands without first learning to kneel unseen. and you are chosen for much. But much never comes before true. You must be true before you are raised. Otherwise, the lifting itself will expose what has not yet died in you. This trial, my child, is not merely a test, it is a revelation. It shows what in you has matured and what in you still bargains with truth. The people I allow into your life now, they are not rewards but examinations, not companions but reflections. They mirror what you believe, what you desire, what you lack. They are not meant to stay but to help you choose. I do not send them to fill your emptiness, but to reveal whether that emptiness has truly been filled by me. If you still need someone else to confirm your worth, you are not ready to be sent. If you still tremble at seduction, you cannot yet hold the sword. If you still open without asking me, you cannot yet guard another soul. I need one who can say no when all the flesh screams yes. One who can step back when others rush forward. One who can wait when every opportunity seems right. For I do not seek those in a hurry to do great things. I seek those willing to die for what is true. If you once thought that the prayer, "Use me," would bring immediate blessing today, you understand that true use begins with stripping away. I do not use anyone whom I have not first left empty-handed. Not to make them poor, but to see whether they truly trust me. True anointing is not passed through the laying on of hands. It comes through the touching of the heart. You cannot carry the flame if you have never let it burn you first. And now I am allowing that fire to reach the place you have never let anyone touch your choices about your very self. Emotions are not sin, but emotions not surrendered will become a detour that leads you astray. Relationships are not a trap, but a relationship untested by my word will become chains. You cannot love me with all your heart and still hold on to what I have told you to release. You cannot ask for my guidance while still following your own feelings. And if you do not learn this now, the next battle will break you. For the enemy will not stop with charm. He will come with glory, with power, with position. And if you have never learned to refuse a wrong embrace, how will you stand when he comes with a throne and a crown? You once asked me why these people came and went. Why bonds that seemed destined ended in confusion. Why you trusted and were wounded. Why what seemed like love turned out to be only a test. And I told you because I am preparing you for something unshakable. I will not allow what is false to live forever in your life. I let truth expose what should remain and what must leave. And you can only keep what is true when you dare to release what is false. Do not grieve over what I have cut away. Do not sorrow over what bore no fruit. Every connection that does not bear holy fruit I will prune. Everything that pulls you away from me, no matter how beautiful it looks, I will remove, not to hurt you, but to preserve you whole. For I love you more than your comfort. I love you more than the emotions you cling to. I love you more than what you think you need. And true love is always willing to say no when necessary. I did not choose you because you are perfect. I chose you because you are surrendered. Yet that surrender must be tested. It must be refined. It must be forged in the tension of unclear choices. I am not looking for those with good reasons. I am looking for those with true obedience. I do not need the flawless. I need those willing to lay down what is not flawless so that I may make it new. And that is what I am doing in you. A process not quick, not easy, but certain to lead to unshakable maturity. Do not worry about what you are losing. Focus on what I am building. For what I am doing in you will not only affect you, it will touch the very generation you will lead. The lessons you learn today will become walls of protection for others tomorrow. The pain you now endure will become the voice of healing for those still lost. And one day you will thank me for not giving you what you thought you wanted, so that you might fully receive what I had destined. Now stand firm, guard your heart, keep letting go, keep obeying. For what you are going through is not rejection, it is preparation. Not abandonment, it is anointing. Not delay, it is promotion. And if you guard your heart in this season, you will enter the next with authority nothing can shake. I am still at work. I am still writing your story, not with temporary ink, but with the blood of covenant. And in that covenant, you are never forgotten. As long as you keep your hand in mine, your eyes fixed on me, no disguise can cause your fall. For the enemy will always tempt you to choose the immediate, but I call you to live for the eternal, and the eternal that is me. Beloved one, open your heart, for I am about to reveal to you a truth only those who pass through fire can truly understand. You ask me, Lord, why? Why did you allow these things? Why not stop the enemy from the start? But child, if I removed every thorn, if I cleared the path before you walked, your heart would never learn to grasp the sword I have placed in your hand. If I always stilled the wind, calmed the storm, how would you know that you too can speak to the tempest? Be still, I did not call you to a smooth journey. I called you to a life of authority. And authority is not birthed in ease. It is born in battle. It is proven when you stand at the blurred line between truth and falsehood, between light and shadow, between emotion and wisdom, and you choose what is right, not because it is easy, but because it is my will. The enemy seeks to plant in you an emotional bond that seems healthy but is truly a silent hook. He does not strike with violence but with sweetness, not with pressure but with allure. He does not wish to topple you at once only to distract you little by little. He does not push you to abandon me overnight. He only wants to divide your attention, half for me, half for what seems right. He knows if your devotion is divided, the flow of the Spirit in you will lose its purity, and a single dilution is enough to make you unable to distinguish my voice among countless others. Child, it is in those moments when you feel torn between reason and emotion, between faith and attraction, that I am opening your spiritual eyes, not to punish but to train, for I know what is coming. I see the storm ahead. I see the great doors about to open. And if you enter without discernment, you will fall at a new level where no easy escape exists. That is why I let you face the headwind here, so that later you may soar above the real storms. I declare who forges iron in fire without wishing to shape a sharp sword. So too I let fire test you to forge you into an instrument I can use in this dark age. If every plan of the enemy were blocked by me from the start, how would you learn to wield spiritual weapons? How would you realize discernment is not a free gift, but the fruit of daily walking close to me? Sometimes I do not block the situation because I am teaching you to block yourself. Not because I am indifferent, but because I trust that you are ready to say no without my shout. I trust that you have enough of my word hidden in your heart to recognize the counterfeit even when it wears the garment of kindness. My child, I do not fear what the enemy brings. Every scheme he crafts I have already seen. No weapon is hidden from my eyes. What matters to me is your response. I could shield you in an instant. But I choose to teach you how to stand in the power you already carry, for you are a co-heir with Christ. And as my beloved Son overcame temptation in the wilderness, so must you learn to stand in the face of sweet choices and still keep a straight heart. I allow you there not to leave you alone, but to show you the Spirit within you is strong enough to resist every counterfeit lure. And then you will see that those who seemed sent to you were tests. You will realize your eyes were drawn to them not by love, but by wounds unhealed. You will see that the connection, however intense, did not bring peace. And when you choose to let it go, I will fill that empty space with a presence so deep no one else could replace it. You will enter maturity, not just with words, but with the marks of what you laid down for me. The world has no shortage of talent, but heaven seeks the true-hearted. I do not need one who shines outwardly admired by men, yet falls easily when alone. I need one who keeps holiness in the dark, one who obeys when no one applauds, one who closes the door when emotions scream to open it, one who puts me above the craving to be loved, recognized, filled. You are that one if you continue to choose me. So do not be saddened when I do not instantly remove those who unsettle you. Do not be angry when I do not erase confusion with one miracle. Do not blame when I do not lift away feelings as quickly as a pill. For I do not work by the flesh. I work by eternity. I heal at the root, not with a patch. I build faithfulness, not a false peace. I do not come to satisfy your comfort. I come to birth the imperishable within you, and that only comes forth in the moments of deepest conflict when you still choose me. One day you will look back on this trial with the eyes of one who has overcome. You will remember the nights you wept, the days you were torn, the choices uncertain, and you will smile because you did not open the door. You stood, you guarded your heart, and above all, you learned to love me more than feelings, more than validation, more than good things not from me. And in that moment, not only will you be free, but you will free others from the counterfeit emotional chains the enemy once used to bind my saints. I declare, to the one who overcomes, I will grant to sit with me on my throne, just as I overcame and sat with my Father on his throne. Revelation 3:2-1. You are called to conquer, not to survive. You are called to reign, not to be a victim of emotions. You are anointed to lead, not to be led by emotional turmoil. And if you pass through this season, nothing the enemy does will block the great door I am about to open for you. So stand firm, beloved one. Do not look at them. Do not look at feelings. Do not look at coincidences. Look at me. I am the author and the finisher of your faith. And what I have begun in you, I will bring to completion. Nothing is wasted. No trial is random. No moment is meaningless. All things are working together for good if you continue to love me and obey my voice. For true authority belongs only to those who have conquered themselves. And you are closer than ever. Beloved child, I see every stirring in your heart as you read these words. You hesitate, you reason, you try to explain by human logic. But let me be clearer as a father to his beloved child. Everything I do or allow is weighed in eternal wisdom. Nothing is random, nothing is whim, and nothing happens outside my hand. I allowed the serpent into the garden, not because I could not stop him, but because I wanted humanity to know that true love is not formed in isolation, but in choice. As with Job, I allowed the enemy to come near, not to crush, but to reveal. Job lived upright, righteous, God-fearing, but only in trial did his true heart, true faith, and true relationship with me come to light. If I always kept you in safety, how would you know if you could stand in the wind? How would you learn that trust is not only valid in the light, but shines brightest in the dark? Remember, Job was not abandoned. I was present in every pain. I was silent but not distant. I let him speak, question, cry, but in the end I answered. I am not silent forever, and I will not be silent to you if you keep seeking me. My only son, yes, none other, was led into the wilderness to be tested. I loved him more than anything in the universe, yet I let the devil come near. Why? Because every declaration must be proven. When Jesus was baptized, my voice thundered from heaven, "This is my beloved Son." But immediately after, the Spirit led him into the desert. Not to make him fall, but to confirm who he was. And he overcame not by miracles, not by obvious power, but by the word. Each time the enemy came, he replied, "It is written," and I want the same for you. I want you to stand in the wind and say, "I do not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." So, child, do not mistake my silence for neglect. Do not think that because you are being tested, I have forgotten you. Right now, as your heart is in turmoil, as your emotions shake, as no one understands what you face, I am closer than ever. I am illuminating the shadows of your heart. I am uncovering the corners you once ignored. I am showing you what is true and what is false. Not through thunder, but through a gentle whisper. Not by mystical dream, but by a small sign, a restlessness, a lack of peace in your soul, a restless night, a word that makes you pause. That is me. That is me setting watchman at the gate of your heart. But child, I do not control you like a puppet. I do not pull strings of emotion. I do not coerce, for true love always honors will. I teach you, I warn you, I remind you, but in the end you must choose. You must decide if you value my voice above your own heart. You must distinguish what comes from fleeting emotion and what comes from the Spirit's leading. You must learn to silence every other voice, however sweet, familiar, reasonable, to hold to the one voice, mine. This is the covenant between me and you, not a contract, but a relationship. And like all true relationships, it requires daily choice. You can stay when you should move and move when you should stay if you do not guard your heart in obedience. You can let feelings drive you instead of the Spirit. You can choose comfort over surrender. But I ask you, do you trust me enough to move, even when you see no danger? Do you trust me enough to leave what seems right simply because it is not from me? That is where maturity is formed. Not in crowded gatherings, not in emotional highs, but in quiet, private choices unseen by men but witnessed by heaven. That is where legacy is protected. A small no can preserve a destiny. A slow obedience can prevent a storm. And that is where true divine power begins, not in spectacular acts, but in utmost humility, when you lay down every argument exalting itself above my word. Do you know this? The first victory in spiritual life is not in how many demons you can cast out, but in how many self-wills you can lay down. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing every thought into captivity to obey Christ. 2 Corinthians 1:0, 4-5. This is the true battle within your heart, and if you win there, no power outside can defeat you. Therefore today I invite you to step into a deeper passage. Not to make you weary, but to show you this, I am preparing you for something greater. Everything I allow is for you to grow, to stand firm and to be strong. And you will see one day when you look back that it was these very trials that laid the foundation of a truly anointed one. It is in these difficult days that you learn to recognize me, not through fleeting emotions but through discernment. My child, remember this: I have not called you into control but into collaboration. And to collaborate with me, you must learn to trust me more than yourself. Choose me, even when it means letting go of what you think you desire. Choose me, even when your heart is breaking. Choose me, even when you must walk alone. For you are never truly alone. I am walking with you, and I will never forsake you. Beloved one, let your heart grow quiet and hear. My whisper, for these words are not merely encouragement, but the very soul of truth being poured into you like holy oil. The enemy imagines it has devised a cunning scheme. It believes that by touching your emotions it can divert your soul, yet it does not know this: I dwell within you. I do not reside on the surface. I inhabit the depths where darkness cannot reach, where no device of hell can counterfeit. My spirit has not come to decorate your soul, but to reign. And when my spirit dwells in you, falsehood cannot remain at rest for long. At times you feel unsettled, restless, an unease you cannot name. That is my spirit tugging, not to punish, but to warn, not to throw you into panic, but to call you to pause. For when danger wears the cloak of love, when temptation dons the mask of kindness, when invitations are wrapped in sweetness, it is only my spirit that can stir your soul in silence. My child, I do not shout to drown out the voices of what you love. I whisper. I whisper so your soul must become still. And in that stillness, truth finds its voice. You ask yourself, why do my emotions not keep pace with my faith? Because your soul has not yet been trained to submit to the Spirit. Emotions have never been a trustworthy guide. Yet do not blame them. Bring them back under the leadership of my Spirit. I know you long to love, to belong, to have companionship. These desires are not wrong, but without surrender, they will rule you instead of serving my purpose. Therefore, I am pruning. I am peeling away each layer of unrefined desire. I am breaking the old definitions by which you once measured blessing. I am stripping from you expectations born not of revelation but of wounds. What you think you need, I am showing you that is not what I have promised. I do not grant what merely feeds unhealed cravings. I give what aligns with divine intention, even if at first you do not recognize it as good. And as you yield to my refining, I am shaping a person no one can counterfeit, one marked by heaven's seal, unmoved by applause, by glances, or by fleeting opportunities. My child, if you feel something is being taken from you, remember I only cut away what threatens the eternal life within you. What I take, I replace with something better. What I close it is not to punish you, but to guard you from an abyss you cannot yet see. This is not rejection. This is protection. This is not delay. This is clarity. For when you see clearly, when you behold yourself through my eyes, you will no longer open your heart so easily to what merely appears good. You will learn to distinguish the true blessing from the counterfeit that only seems right. Do not be afraid, dear one. You will not fail when you remain in me. You will not be destroyed when you place your life under the guidance of my Spirit. I have not led you this far only to abandon you to the enemy's grasp. No weapon formed against you shall prevail. Why? Because I am teaching you to see the weapon before it strikes. I am training you to detect the devil's breath behind gentle words, to discern the spirit behind a hand that seems to help but secretly binds with unseen chains. The enemy thinks you are weak. It thinks that by replaying old feelings it can draw you back into former paths. It imagines that by presenting someone who looks like an answered prayer you will open your heart without inquiry, but it has forgotten you are no longer who you once were. I have placed something in you that cannot be faked, a heart that obeys even without clarity, a soul that worships in trial, a mind that judges by my word, and because of this, the enemy will fail. Can you see it? It was your past stumbling that taught you priceless lessons. It was those times you opened your heart to the wrong person, listened to the wrong voice, followed the wrong feeling that became the training ground of discernment. And now, whenever the false draws near, my spirit within you will sound the alarm, not with fear but with warning, not with confusion but with a deep unease. And if you yield, if you trust the whisper above the roar, you will overcome. This is not punishment, child. This is preparation. Not because I doubt you, but because I trust you. Not because you are failing, but because I am bringing you to a level not all are allowed to enter. A level where your words carry weight, where your decisions shape the lives of others. And because you have prayed, Lord, I want to be used, I am forging you so that you will not collapse under the very weight of that calling. I redeem all things. Even the schemes of hell serve my purpose when you surrender. The enemy thinks it is tearing down your path, but through it I confirm your path. It thinks it makes you stumble, but I use that stumble to teach you how to stand forever. You are not derailed from your journey. You are being refined on it, and everything I allow across your life has already been filtered through my hands. So my child, take courage and press on. Do not tremble before shadows dressed in light. Do not yield to what feels pleasant but is not holy. Do not mourn what I cut away, for what I preserve is what builds you. And when you pass through this season, you will not only survive, you will stand, you will become, you will be used in ways far beyond your imagining. For what the enemy meant to destroy you, I am using to shape you. And once you are shaped by my hand, no power will ever shatter you again. Beloved one, the day will come, the day you stand upon the hill of maturity, looking back at the valleys of shadow you once walked through, and you will understand. Not now, while your heart is tangled, while your cheeks are wet with tears, while emotions crash like waves within you. But one day light will flood the places you once called dark, and you will weep not from pain but from gratitude. You will thank me that I did not yield to prayers born of unhealed longing. You will bless me for not giving you what you thought you needed, but for giving you what I knew was life. What you now see as loss is preservation. As a father pulls his child from the cliff's edge, though the child cries in protest, not understanding, so I have pulled you from what appeared beautiful but was not true. A love not established by me will never bring lasting peace. A relationship not built upon revelation from me will always hide hooks that pull you from your sacred calling. I see what your eyes cannot yet see. I see the end beyond the passion, the valley beyond the hill of emotion, and I, as your father, cannot remain silent while you stand on the brink of an unworthy trade. When you walk away from these two, though, your soul bleeds, healing begins. This pain is not proof of failure, but the fruit of timely withdrawal. True love never demands that you sacrifice your divine destiny to possess it. One sent by me will not confuse. You will not muffle. My voice will not force you to choose between love and surrender. That one will align with the promise, not contradict the word. That one will not take my place in your heart, but will join you in worshiping me. And if what you cling to does not bear these signs, then it is not from me. You ask me for clarity, you are receiving it now, my child. Not through a dazzling dream or a mystical vision, but through the wrestling within your spirit. Lack of peace is the alarm of my spirit. Distraction is the sign you are drifting. Sleepless nights, restless days, these are not coincidences, but interventions. And that intervention is the very protection you once prayed for. I am not only a loving father, I am a wise king. When I say no, it is not because I delight in your sorrow, but because I am guarding the treasure within you from sweetened blades. The enemy does not always come as a raging storm, but as a gentle breeze carrying counterfeit fragrance. It cloaks manipulation with romance, blurs my voice with emotion. It need not destroy you outright. It only needs to divert you from timing, from place, from intimacy with me, and that is enough to delay a season of blessing. But I will not allow it. I stand between you and the snare. I extend my hand not to drag you, but to invite you back. Before you I set two paths, one of immature emotion, one of mature surrender, and I say, choose life. Not the life that feels easy, but the life that is true. Not a rosy future built on sand, but a holy destiny founded on rock. Trust me, my child, nothing I take away will go unreplaced by something greater, yet the greater often comes later when your heart is ready to receive it. True blessing does not grow on the flat soil of ease. It rises from the ground of sacrifice. Where you choose me over feeling, where you close the door without knowing every reason, where you place your trust in me even without visible reward. When you walk away from what is not mine, you guard the temple within you from defilement. You preserve the flow of grace from being choked by dangerous bonds. You prove that your love for me is not love swayed by feelings. And in that hidden moment of seeming rejection, heaven will remember. Angels will testify. Your destiny will be secured. I see what the enemy cannot. It thinks it shakes you, but I see you rooting deeper. It thinks you will fall, but I see you learning to stand. And each time you choose me in the storm of emotions, in the gentle whispers, in the tender gaze, that is when you mark a spiritual turning point. You are becoming one I can entrust with greater responsibility. So, my child, close your eyes and let go. Let me clear away ties not born of me. Let me shut doors that do not lead to glory. Let me prune that holy fruit may grow from you. Do not fear the pain, for pain in me does not lead to ruin but to maturity. Do not cling in regret, for what you will soon receive will prove that today's surrender is tomorrow's righteous exchange. One day you will stand beside the one I have chosen for you, or in the high calling I have prepared, and you will remember this moment. You will remember the decision to release unseen and misunderstood, and within you will rise a song of praise. Not because all was easy, but because all was right, because I preserved you, because you chose me, because my faithfulness has never failed. Blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. They will be like a tree planted by the waters that sends out its roots by the stream. It does not fear when heat comes. Its leaves are always green. In the year of drought, it is not anxious, and it never ceases to bear fruit. Jeremiah 1:7-8. You will be that tree, if today you choose me, and I will be the unfailing stream for your soul. My beloved child, now as your heart opens in understanding, as your ears listen not only with mind but with spirit, I speak to you an unshakable truth: you are loved, not for what you do, but for who you are, my child. Not because you are flawless, but because you are redeemed by precious blood. My love is no mere concept. It is a shield encircling you day and night. It is the breath upon your neck when you feel empty. It is the fire in your heart when you think you are lost. You are seen every hidden longing, every silent tear, every unspoken cry. None of your whispers are forgotten in heaven. None of your bowed heads are overlooked by me. I see you even when you hide. I see the fear beneath your strength, the doubt beneath your prayer. And though you do not yet see the fullness of what I am doing, you may rest in this: I do not ignore you. You are known deeply, fully beyond all human comprehension. I know you better than you know yourself. I know your past, your unhealed wounds, the places you fear to enter. I know your future, the seasons yet unlived, the trials yet untasted. I know what you can do, and I know what still frightens you. And in that knowing, I still choose you. Not because you are ready, but because I have ordained it. Not because you are strong, but because I am your strength. And you are protected not by walls of stone, but by my very presence. When you are in my will, nothing can happen that I have not thoroughly considered. I will show you the truth, not a half-truth, not a truth built on feelings, but the enduring truth that outlasts every season. I will open your eyes not only to see what is wrong, but also to see the goodness I am preserving for you. I will sharpen your discernment into a sword not only for defense, but to sever every chain of counterfeit manipulation and deception that once surrounded you. My child, this trial is not meant to defeat you, it is the doorway into new authority. Right here in the place where you struggle, where you are learning to choose what is right when what is wrong appears kind. This very place will become your living sermon. Not a sermon of words, but a life refined, a heart that has passed through fire. This trap which seemed set for your destruction is in fact the place of your training in discernment. And this very moment, the moment you choose me over your feelings, choose truth over the reasoning of the heart, this is the moment a new person is born within you. So my child, walk forward, not with trembling steps of fear, but with firm feet of faith. Walk not because you know everything, but because you know the one who leads. Refuse what I did not send, even if it is pleasant, even if it looks right, even if it once made you happy. Release what I have not blessed, even if it eases your loneliness, even if it brings you applause, even if it has walked with you a long road. And rest in this eternal truth: I see what you do not see. Rejoice. Do not grieve when you know the enemy has set his sights on you. That is proof you are on the right path. The enemy does not trouble himself with those who hold no spiritual value. If he plots carefully, if he manipulates with precision, it is because he fears what I am doing through you. He fears your calling. He fears your voice after this season. He fears your authority in prayer when you understand where true victory lies. He fears one who has learned to choose me over self. I am with you not only in holy moments, but also in wrestling, in confusion, in tears. I am not only in the church, I am in your room when you pray quietly. I am in the moment you put down your phone and refuse to answer a deceptive message. I am in the sigh when you lay aside unfinished dreams to choose what is right. I am in the emptiness you feel after obedience, for it is there that I pour what you truly need, and I will bring you through, not merely surviving but stronger, not merely intact but more steadfast, not merely keeping the faith but burning brighter. For I am Jehovah your God. I do not begin what I will not finish. I do not lead you into the wilderness to abandon you. I do not refine you through trial to forget you in the dark. No, my child, I am the beginning and the finisher. Therefore trust me, even when your eyes do not see, trust. Even when your heart still wrestles, trust. Obey even when your reason is unsatisfied, when your friends do not understand, when you do not have all the answers. And watch, wait, behold, see what I will do. For I am the one who does exceedingly beyond all you ask or imagine, according to my power at work in you. Trust me, obey me, and you will see what only I can do. It is not merely protection. It is a miracle, a reshaping of you into a priceless vessel for my kingdom. Then you will not only say you have overcome, you will become a living testimony of the faithfulness of God. Now with a trembling heart and hands that have let go of all grasping, offer to me the most honest prayer from your soul. Almighty God, whose purposes never err, I bow my head before your holy presence and my heart before your loving design. I no longer wish to pretend to be strong, Father, for you know me better than I know myself. Open my eyes to see the snares disguised in affection, in sweetness, in calls that sound reasonable but lead astray. At times I cannot tell what is true and what is only a false reflection. Teach me not to choose according to unhealed emotions, but to pause and listen for the whisper of the Spirit. Guard my mind in clarity, so that no sweet word will make me forget the sweetness of you. If I must let go, grant me courage. If I must lose, grant me peace. And if I must stand alone, let me stand in your presence and not in the shadow of agreement. Father, the beginning and the end, in silence I see you more clearly than in any shout of men. You do not contend for noise, you do not demand attention, yet you are always here, quiet yet mighty. I am being pulled by comforts, by sweet reassurances, by promises painted in color, but deep inside I know not all of them are from you. I have compromised before out of loneliness. I have clung to what was false because it made me feel needed. But today, Father, I want to learn to release. Teach me to discern what is good from what is yours. Teach me to listen more than to chase. And if you choose to close a door, help me not to cling out of fear. You are the giver, but also the one who takes away in mercy. Beloved Jesus, who bore wounds for my heart, I surrender before your throne of grace. I do not want to stumble over misguided dreams. If someone comes whom you have not sent, stop their steps. If there is any bond you have not blessed, break it now. You know I have loved what I misunderstood. You know I am easily swayed by what looks like answered prayers. Yet guard me from my own heart. Make me strong enough not to open the door, wise enough to say no. Place in me a courageous faith, a faith that chooses holiness over companionship. Though it hurts, though it costs, if I have you, I am still victorious. Holy Spirit, who lives and moves within me, do not let me mistake your quietness for absence. Sharpen my heart to sense the little things the world ignores. Show me the knocks that seem harmless but carry strategies from hell. Help me not to let the fragments of my soul become the reason I open myself to harm. I know I am weak, but I am not powerless. I know I hurt, but I am not abandoned. Grant me spiritual eyes to see even before anyone confirms, even before anyone agrees. Grant me courage to go against the current of emotion, to choose life without the need of applause. Heavenly Father, who has not overlooked a single tear of mine, I thank you that you have not yielded to my hasty pleas. I thank you that you close doors I beg to enter. I once accused you of coldness, but now I see it was great mercy. I thank you that you stopped me before I destroyed myself in the name of love. I thank you that in the darkness of emotion, you still lit a ray of truth. You do not act according to my wishes, but always according to what is right. And because of this, I know I am truly loved. Lord, source of life, I thank you that you did not allow trials to destroy me, but used them to perfect me. I thank you that the snares were broken not because I was wise, but because you were merciful. I thank you that you trained me in silence, in unseen choices. I thank you that each time I refused what was false, heaven recorded it. And I thank you that though I cannot see you, you see me clearly, and with enough love to keep me through every battle, Almighty One who reigns over all. I thank you that your word never comes late. You speak when I need it most. You warn before disaster strikes. You prepare my heart before I face danger. I thank you that you do not let emotions rule my soul, but by your Spirit draw me back. And I thank you that you trust me enough to let me face trials, not for my ruin, but to grant me true authority. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we may build a strong community of faith.